Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2020 career mode for the Formula 2 round in France today. So in the championship there is currently 2 points separating first down to third. So it is very close indeed between myself, Matsushita and Correa. So let's get into qualifying and see what we can do today. So here we go for our qualifying lap around Paul Ricard. So let's see what we can do heading towards the first corner now, trying to brake as late as possible, take a nice wide entry and make sure we hit both apexes. Very difficult to see the apexes of that corner looking into the sun there, but we got through pretty well on that occasion, and it will get easier in the race as the clouds come over. But yeah, through the heading into the middle sector now, and knocking over a few bollards and cones, nothing new there. But now onto the back straight. Surprisingly, I find this section easier in the Formula 2 cars compared to F1 cars, which is a bit strange. Now into the chicane, trying to brake as late as possible, taking a lot of curb there because you can get away with it. And now along the run to the flat out right-hander, and let's hope we can get the line right through here. Quite difficult to pick the exact turning point, but we get through there nice and smoothly this time, and completely the wrong line though, heading into this very strangely shaped right-hander, sort of a bit like Shanghai, the first few corners there, but a bit more open. And yeah, this last sector is absolutely horrendous, but oh well. That's just unfortunate, but last two corners now, and I really do like this complex over the last two corners, and launching out of the last corner and the short line to the finish line. Let's see where we can qualify, and we qualify currently fastest.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are the scientist, Matsushita, and Antoine Hubert. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the feature race gets itself underway.
Alright, so P1, but I don't expect we'll have the same race pace. I never do compared to qualifying, but you never know. So I'm going to leave the difficulty where it is, despite getting pole with a fairly average lap by a fairly significant margin. But anyway. We'll get into the race and see how it goes.
It's that time once again, those last few moments of anticipation before lights out and the charge towards turn one. Which of these young drivers will come out on top at Paul Ricard today? Stay with us to find out as we get today's race underway. Today's drivers need to master the 15 corners of Paul Ricard, 6 left-handers and 9 right, spaced around the 3.6-mile circuit. The longest section is the famous Mistral Straight, which is split into 2 by the colourful chicane Nord, which offers a potential overtaking hotspot. But the drivers there need to take care. Those brightly coloured stripes don't offer much grip and won't be kind to tyres. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive, and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
We are nearly ready for the start of today's race, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the grid. The scientist lines up on pole position, and Nobuharu Matsushita completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hubert, Schumacher, Juan Manuel Correa, and King, Boccolacci, Giotto, Alesi, Nikita Mazepin, Latifi, Delatraz, Jack Aitken, and De Vries, Eilot, Joe, Calderon, and Sergio Sette Camara. Boschon and Mahavir Raghunathan starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, let's see if we can push for a top 10 finishing position today.
Alright, thank you, Jeff. We'll try to aim for maybe a bit more than a simple top 10, but you can see there's a rain icon towards the end of the race, which will make things interesting. I did not actually notice that as I looked at the strategy. But away we go for the feature race in France, and it's a fairly average start, a great start by Matsushita, and he immediately takes the lead as we head towards the first corner. Hubert is having a look around the outside. We're side by side through the first corner. We're going to go around the outside of turn 2, squeezing into the apex, and we will hold on to second position from Hubert, followed by my teammate Schumacher, and then our other title rival of Correa down in 5th at the moment. But we're all fighting near the front as we should be. So let's hope we can take the fight to Matsushita, who has a small gap to us after the first sector. But let's see if we can get a nice run onto the straight. A lot of understeer there, and we run wide on cold tyres. Hubert now having a look and catching up, but he's not going to get close enough to make a move. So it will be as we were heading onto the straight as we head through the chicane. And let's see if we can get a nice exit and close up to Matsushita.
Okay, the start was fine. Let's try and move forward.
But not good enough to get a run. So we just have to sit behind for now and be patient as we still just getting the tyres up to temperature. It seems the car not quite behaving itself through all of this heavy fuel as well for the first time this weekend, and that could be playing a part as well as to why the car isn't quite responding the way I'm thinking it will. But we close up massively through the final sector, and we may have an opportunity soon to make an overtake on Matsushita if we can get close enough and stay close enough through this final corner. But there's a bit of dirty air through that section of track, and the traction for me on that final corner isn't that great, and he is going to hold on for now. But I imagine as we get through this race we will have another opportunity, and as I say that, we move on, and it actually looks a little bit lighter at this point, so maybe the sun coming out a bit before the rain comes later on. But a nice run onto the straight that time, and we're going to have a run on Matsushita with the DRS as he moves across to defend. We're going to go to the outside and see if we can make the move stick.
That brings you up a place.
Around the outside, and we do just that, and we're able to take the apex, and we take the lead of the feature race here in France. But something tells me that this race is far from over, especially with the rain coming later.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
And fastest lap will help us, but as we run deep into the first corner, Matsushita takes the advantage straight away, and we take a bit of avoiding action through turn 2, as I wasn't sure if he was going to turn in on us or not, so I just decided to take the corner cut there, and yeah, just back out of it and live to fight another day, so to speak. But as we continue on, we get another run on Matsushita heading on to the back straight. So let's see, having a little look to the inside, he's going to push us all the way to the white line, but as we get the run, we're going to push him back across and take the line we want as we head into the middle sector, and we get the move done on Matsushita, and we retake the lead of the feature race here in France. But all this battling is also going to bring Hubert into the fight if we're not careful, as we run deep into the right hander, this long right hander in the final sector. Matsushita straight back through again, and there's Hubert, as I mentioned, right behind us, ready to take an advantage if he can get it. But right now he just has to stay.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
Where he is at the moment. But again, as we come along the back straight, we're going to have another look as Matsushita again defends all the way to the inside line. We're going to switch to the outside this time, round the outside of Matsushita, but he's late on the brakes, good through the corner there, and the Japanese driver holds on as the Frenchman watches on behind us, and we just have to be patient. But we actually decide to make a pit stop a lap earlier than the cars around us, so we get a bit of an undercut. But in Formula 2 that doesn't always work for you, because you get the cold tyres on the outlap, and sometimes that can actually cost more time than you can potentially gain, whereas with F1 cars you have the tyre warmers that let you get up to speed straight away with no real warm-up phase. So new tyres on the car. There are some cars.
Go, go, go. You'll be racing on the exit. Go now.
There are some cars stopping on this lap, but not many, it seems. And
pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Certainly no one that was fighting for the lead, as we got a pile of wheel spin coming out of the corner there. out of the pit lane, I mean. But yeah, we are going to just have to try and push as hard as we can on this outlap to try and get an advantage. But as we come through, we overtake Schumacher, who was just exiting pit lane. But we rejoin in 3rd position as Matsushita and Hubert managed to get the overcut on us. So as I said, it's completely worked against us.
We may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes.
But rain is about to come down as we go down the inside. But Hubert switched back there, and we don't manage to hold on to this position. That was a desperate move because I knew he was on cold tyres, but clearly he got his tyres fired up fairly quickly and had plenty of grip through there. So moving on again, we're going to see if we can make a move in a different place this time. We're going to try and carry the speed around the outside, but there was not enough grip out there. But I did make the move there in the past. But Hubert gets a bit of a slide on the exit, and we get the power down along the straight, DRS, but we don't even need it. We're already past.
Nice move.
And Hubert, with a mistake there out of the final corner, loses out on 2nd position as Sergio Sette Camera retires from the feature race. I didn't get a replay of that, but he is out with a mechanical failure. And moving on now, we are gaining on Matsushita, and we'll see if we can maybe make a move on him as we head towards the middle sector. But we actually get a good run out of the 1st corner. He's defending all the way to the inside there, and down the inside we go and take the lead back of the feature race here in France at Paul Ricard. But like I said, the rain will be coming down very, very shortly, so we'll see if we have the pace then. But for now,
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
oh, there you go, rain in 10 minutes. But yeah, for now we're in the lead. But we'll see if Matsushita can come back at us. He does have the DRS, but he's not going to quite get close enough here through to the chicane. So yeah, we're just going to have to sit behind for now as we lose the rear end massively. And we do manage to save it, but Matsushita's back through, Hubert is through as well, and that drops us down into 3rd position. So an absolute disaster for us there at this point in the race. And we have to watch out because there's still cars right behind us as well. We have to watch out for hot tyres as well, but that doesn't become an issue. And eventually we do manage to catch up again to Hubert as we're putting the pressure on as we head into the chicane. We're going to go round the outside as he leaves us just enough room there, and we do just about make the move around the outside of Hubert to the inside of the chicane, and we move ahead.
Nice work, that brings you up a place.
Of the Frenchman now. Just Matsushita up ahead as the conditions do get darker here at Paul Ricard. The rain must be coming very, very soon, but as we come out of the final corner, Hubert is not going to give up, and he's going to try and make a move as we head towards the 1st corner. He moves to the inside. We're going to take the racing line into the 1st corner and try and hold on around the outside, but we get a pile of bumps here on corner entry. Hubert gets back through and moves himself up into 2nd position. But as we head on to the back straight, we're going to have another opportunity to get back by him, and we have a little look to the inside. We're going to switch to the outside though because it worked for us before, and as we head into the braking zone, late on the brakes, Hubert can't quite fight it on the inside, and it worked for us before and it works for us now. We get back ahead of Hubert as we head through the middle sector chicane, and once again it's just Matsushita ahead of us as the conditions continue to get darker. Surely the rain will be coming down soon, and we need to get this move done before that happens. So now through the chicane, let's see if we can get a good nice run on the exit. You can see a wide line on the entry to try to get that run, and we have got the run on Matsushita. We have a little look to the inside, but we're not going to get enough of an overlap by the time we get to this flat out right-hander, and yeah, that would always end in an aeroplane crash if I tried to make the move there. So now really putting the pressure on Matsushita as we head through the final sector, but really dropping back there as we got the line just completely wrong. But yeah, just need to get a few good corners in. We'll catch right up to him because he seems to be lacking some pace as maybe as the track cools and the water droplets start falling from the sky. He may be having some issues, but yeah, we just need to try and make the most of that if we can and get the move done while we can, because I imagine in the rain we're not going to have the same pace as they do. But as we move on, the track gets wet very, very quickly here, it seems, because it doesn't seem to have even been raining for that long.
Nick is coming in for his stop.
And everyone is in for the wet tyres. No intermediates in Formula 2, but yeah, the track didn't even look that wet to me, but everyone came in. Matsushita came in from in front of me, so there's no way I was going to risk staying out if it seemed everyone was coming in. Unfortunately, Schumacher has to double stack behind me, as will about 10 drivers on the grid in the field. So yeah, really unfortunate for him that he's going to lose out there. But we get back underway with the pile of wheels spin out of pit exit, and look at the track now. Look how much water is on the track surface, especially like through here. It is absolutely insane how quickly this track got that sort of layer of water on it, and along the straight as well. It just looks insane. So yeah, it definitely was time to go on to the wet tyres, as much as it didn't look like it to begin with. But as we completely lose the car coming out of the middle sector chicane, Jordan King finds his way past, and we can't really do anything to defend that. So Jordan King, who had a good pit stop phase, comes out and gets ahead of us. But that is Matsushita out of the race with a mechanical failure, the race leader. Major disappointment for the title contender there.
Radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now.
That is an absolute disaster for him, and that brings out the safety car.
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
And there's actually a bit of an interesting development going on at the moment, because the track is drying. The rain technically, I think, has stopped, according to Jeff. I just asked him earlier, and yeah, he says that the rain has stopped, and with a few laps left, a switch to the dry tyres under safety car might be a good strategy call, especially with Matsushita out of the race and Correa down the order a little bit. We may have an opportunity to gain some points here if we take a risky strategy. So we're going to go for it and pit onto the dry tyres. But what I didn't realise is that there are only 2 laps left. I knew it was close to the end of the race, but I thought that maybe there was 3 or 4, but I just didn't read the number. And yeah, that was a mistake. So it'll be very close to see if we can actually gain any advantage out of this. I'm not
Complete, go now.
worried about the track being dry enough. I'm sure the track is dry enough, because when the track starts to dry,
You'll be able to push sooner once these scrubbed tyres are up to speed.
when the track starts to dry, the wet tyres start giving you a sort of weird feeling in the steering, and I was definitely getting that. So yeah, I know the track is dry enough for the slick tyres to work, but it just will be very interesting to see if we can actually gain any position.
This is your final lap of the race.
And if you look in the top left, as we cross the line there, it is 13 seconds to Calderon, so we have already gained some major time, because there's a lot more than that when we come out of the pits, I'm fairly certain. So yeah, it is definitely faster at the moment to be on these tyres. Whether we can actually gain that amount of time in a lap remains to be seen, as we are now on the final lap, as you would have heard. So let's see what we can do through this final lap, and if we can gain any positions. The race win is out of the question. That isn't going to happen, but let's see what we can do as we head through the middle sector. But the reason that the other reason I put the slick tyres on is I know once the wet tyres are out of their operating window, is I'm going to be completely useless with those tyres, and I'd probably...
Okay, gap ahead is 11.6 seconds.
You can be quiet now, Jeff. I would probably finish outside of the points anyway, because I cannot drive on a drying track on the wet tyres. I'd much rather be on the correct tyres and be able to control the car otherwise. I'd probably just end up spinning out, especially with the entire field right behind me. I didn't really feel like that would be a good situation to be in, but unfortunately it doesn't look like the gamble's going to pay off this time, and it's going to be last place for us in this race. But I thought it was worth the gamble, because I thought that yeah, leaving the wet tires on wasn't going to end well in any case. So no big deal. We are only going to lose out to Correa with Matsushita out of the race, and we have the sprint race to try and come back as well. So it's last place here in France for the feature race.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
A bit of a disappointment, but yeah, I feel like it was a bit of a catch-22. Driver of the day goes to Dorian Boccalacci, apparently.
So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be MP Motorsport picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
So it's going to be Jordan King that takes the race win today. Unbelievable. Kind of came out of nowhere in that one, but fair play to him, and he got the job done.
After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the driver's tape. Juan Manuel Correa takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Very difficult, but I'll say Jordan King. He's cool under pressure, and he made the most of a difficult race today.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship. Charus moved further clear at the top of the table.
The official driver of the day also did a fantastic job. But I have to vote with my heart, and today I have to go in a different direction.
Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Alright, so let's just get into the sprint race.
And we're back. After yesterday's feature race, the top 8 drivers have been reversed on the grid, setting up some exciting action as we launch into today's event, the sprint race. Davide, is there anything we should be looking for in today's race? The teams are all very competitive at the moment, so are we about to witness a push from anyone in particular?
Hi Alex, the team will have been studying everyone else out there very carefully. So I think we are in for a very interesting event today. I can't wait to see how this race unfolds.
Alright, so here we go from 18th position on the grid as we go to 5 red lights. And away we go for the sprint race here in France, and it's an okay start, not great. Sede Camera gets a good one, Matsushita gets a bad one, and he's down into last position as we have a look to the inside, down the inside of a couple of cars into the first corner. No move to be made there though. That would just be looking for trouble this far down in the pack. Sede Camera though trying to make the moves down the inside as we head towards the end of the first sector, and we're just going to not even argue the point there with Sede Camera. He can battle away. We have plenty of time to try and get through the field as we have a look around the outside of Calderon and Sede Camera, and we actually might get it done here as they left a window around the outside, contact a bit there with Calderon, but we get the move done, and that is a really nice move there on the two of them, and we get past both as we now head towards the middle sector. Sede Camera putting the pressure on Raghunnathan, who defends down the inside, and we try to go around the outside of Raghunnathan, but he's super late on the brakes, to be fair to him, and Raghunnathan manages to stay ahead of us. Sede Camera back into 18th. Calderon and Matsushita still down in last position as Sede Camera tries to get alongside us, but doesn't quite manage as we head towards the flat out right-hander for the first time in this race, getting a nice run through there and let's see if we can put some pressure on Raghunathan as we head towards and through the final sector, but not quite being able to make a move there as we have done in the past. So yeah, we just need to be patient and make the moves when we have the opportunity. But yeah, for now we are stuck behind Raghunathan and a whole train of cars at the moment. But we've survived the first lap, which is quite an achievement in itself, starting this load down in the field. So we just need to try and make the moves when we can and try to get into the points in this race if that's possible. But we move on, and we're a fair way behind Raghunathan, but I've noticed the AI are fairly early on the brakes here, so we go down the inside and take that position relatively easily from Raghunathan, who's dropped off the back of this train ever so slightly, lacking some pace in this race. So maybe some issue for him there. As we move on though, the next car is Guan Yu Zhou, who is a long way down in this field. But we go down the inside as he moves slightly under the brakes, and we have to take to jumping over the curbs to avoid making contact or just completely understeering off the track, as we had to take a bit of avoiding action there in the braking zone. But nonetheless, we do make the move on Guan Yu Zhou. Next up is Callum Ilott, who's stuck in this train as we go sweeping around the outside to the inside of the final corner, so close to running into the side of Nick de Vries, and Ilott back around the outside as Mazepin sets the fastest lap as the race leader. We get the position back from Ilott. He got a bad exit out on the curbs, and a bit of oversteer for him there, I think. But we get the position back from him as we're very aggressive through the first sector. We get a nice run though on Nick de Vries through the second straight. Down the inside we go, and we're going to just about squeeze through there and move ourselves up into 13th position in this race. Next up is Ralph Boschung, so let's see if we can pass the Trident driver on the next straight, as we are generally pretty good through this section, and with a bit of slipstream we may be able to make the move. But he's got DRS from the cars in front of him as well, so this may be more difficult than it looks, and it seems like we're too far back. We'll go for the move anyway down the inside. Not going to work for us as he has a big lock up there, and he's going to hold on. But through to the final sector now, we're going to take a slightly wide entry, slot to the inside, down the inside, and we're going to just about sneak through on Ralph Boschung. That was a sneaky move, and we managed to make it work. And the next car up is Aitken. We go down the inside into the end of the first sector, and we get the move done on Jack Aitken as Mahavir Raghunathan retires from the race with a mechanical failure. That might explain why he seemed a bit slow along the straights before, if he had some issue in that car. So next up is Giuliano Alesi. We go for a big dive down the inside into the chicane, and we get the move done very nicely there. That was a lovely move there on Giuliano Alesi. Next up is Louis Delatraz, so let's see where we can make a move on him. We send one round the outside, but it's not going to work there. We might still try as down the inside of the final corner, and we do make that move work. That is becoming a very good opportunity for us.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
That final corner, just carrying the speed through this penultimate corner, running it wide on purpose, as we now go down the inside and make the position on Jordan King, the race winner last time out, not being quite as successful this time. Next up is Dorian Boccolacci, who was a championship contender for a while, but he's dropped down in the standings as of late. They're still collecting consistent points, and obviously he got driver of the day last time out. The Frenchman at his home race this time will be looking to continue those results as we have a look down the inside. Oh, that was very, very close to contact, but I think we just about got away with it. And yeah, he's not going to give up this position easy. He was a lot later on the brakes there than I expected him to be fair, but we're going to squeeze down the inside on the exit of the flat-out right-hander and into this next long right-hander. We get the move done on Boccolacci, and we can now focus and set our sights on the top 6. And the first car in that train is Hubert, and I should mention that I think one thing that is really helping us in this race, the race leader is Nikita Mazepin, and he doesn't quite have the same pace that the likes of a Matsushita would have when he was leading, and he seems to be holding up the field a bit as we get a nice run on Giotto as he was squeezed out by Hubert. We've got a run on Hubert, we might get him as well down the inside, and we do just get through there down the inside and through on Hubert, and that moves us up into 5th position. Next up, Nicholas Latifi, finally on form in this season and collecting some good points for the Dams team, who were last in the Constructors a short time ago. But around the outside of Latifi we go in our favourite part of the circuit, to the inside of the final corner, and we get through and make that position very nicely as he gets a bad exit out on the curbs. Next up is Correa, who's defending all the way to the white line, so we're going to use that to our advantage, sweep around the outside with a more natural racing line, and we'll take that position and move ourselves up onto the podium. Next up is our teammate Mick Schumacher as we head on to the back straight. Once again, we got a lovely run here. We might actually get the position done without the DRS's help, but we'll use it anyway, side by side along the back straight. And as we head towards the chicane though, we completely missed the braking point there, and we have to take to the left and right bollard thingies to make it through. And around the outside of Correa though, as we did briefly drop down into 4th position because of that. But we do eventually catch up to the podium contenders again as we have a look to the inside of Schumacher towards a flat out right-hander, trying to get into the mirrors, but not going to work for us there. But sitting right behind him here, can we maybe make a move around the outside, carrying the speed here, and he gives us a bit of space and lets us through there. So that may have been a little bit orchestrated there from Schumacher, not to get in my way too much. Obviously I am the one fighting for the title, but now we've only got one car between us and the race leader, so let's see what we can do against Nikita Mazepin as we head through. And can we make the move that we made earlier today? We do make the move, and we just get through the same way we did on Delatraz. Boschum that was. And yeah, that was a really nice move on Mazepin. Now we can try and focus on just getting away, because what I didn't mention is when we cut through the chicane.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
We did get a penalty, so we need.
That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, we need to stretch out 10 seconds if we want to come home with this race win. So here we go as we go through this race, considerably darker as we head towards the end of it, but it's not going to affect us too much. If anything, it makes the track easier to see with less sun reflecting on it. So here we go. This is going to be the fastest lap that I set during the race, and you can see big aggression over the curbs there through the first sector, and that was quite a good first sector, purple in fact. So as you would expect, as I've already spoiled, this is the fastest lap that we set, and a nice exit onto the straight. And let's see how we handle the middle sector chicane. As I went through this race, I did find more and more confidence, and was just getting faster and faster. So yeah, it was really satisfying, even though I wasn't fighting any other cars, just to be driving and getting faster and faster each lap and setting more and more fastest laps as the race went on. So yeah, as we continue through this lap, a really nice line there through the flat out right-hander, and now big aggression over that inside curb there, trying to shorten up the line as much as possible, trying to carry as much speed as we can through these flowing corners in the final sector. A little bit too wide on entry there, but not too much, not too bad, and then sticking as far right as we can as we head towards this final 2 corners, and we just need to try and get good traction out of this final corner. Missed the apex a little bit there, and got a little slide on the exit, but it's not going to affect that overall lap too much. And as we cross the line, we go fastest once again.
This is your final lap of the race.
And now onto the final lap. We'll see if we can improve on that time once again through the first sector, and major aggression over the first 2 curbs, and getting those about as perfect as you can, I think, at least by my definition of perfect. And as we head through the rest of the first sector, though a little bit awkward on the curb there, because sometimes those ones there can upset the car, and that's what happened there. And we're red to the first sector, so
Okay, you're creating some breathing space between you and the car behind.
it doesn't
by a
look
few
like
seconds
we'll
more.
improve this time.
You're leading the pack. P1, Mazepin behind. Our gap behind is 12.8 seconds. They're on old hards. This is your final lap of the race.
That's 12.8 seconds now back to Mazepin, so it looks like we may be able to come home with the race win today if we can just hold this margin. So we're going to need to keep pushing in this final sector, because currently Correa is in third, and I don't want him to catch up. If he manages to get into second, he could spoil the party because he is quite fast. So yeah, we're not going to count our chickens before they hatch, but yeah, it looks good for us to take home the win at the moment by just a few seconds. So let's see if we can just get the job done around the final two corners. No major issues in the last sector so far, and through the final few corners we go, and I think this will be enough to come home with the race win. So here we go towards the line. We are going to win the sprint race here in France from 18th on the grid, and we do get a purple.
Fantastic. You've won the Grand Prix.
We do get a purple final sector as well for our troubles there, but the fastest lap was the one before. Driver of the day as well.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Prema today. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
This is why I love this sport. Their car dominates the track today. You could tell they went in full of confidence, with a clear strategy in place. They displays excellent knowledge of the track and made it count when it comes to some of those more tricky corners, allowing them to make huge gains on some of the less confident ones. I guarantee the fans will certainly be talking about today for a long time to come.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema.
Not sure what's going on with my driver avatar there. That is not the one I selected, but nonetheless it's a race win for us. Great result for Nikita Mazepin coming home in second, and Correa coming home in third.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Challenge. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
It's a difficult call, but I'm going to give it to the Prema driver. There was a lot of going on down the field. There's no question for me. They were the best.
And now a look at the team standings. Prema moved to the top of the table. Another team that excelled today was Dams, who make further progress up the table. And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Alright, so you might have just seen there on the race director that our fastest lap was the second last one. So yeah, the first one that I mentioned was the fastest lap. So yeah, I was quite happy with that lap overall. But yeah, back to talking about the actual races this weekend. Starting with the feature race, obviously starting on pole, a bit disappointing to finish in 18th, but we did the complete reverse of that in the sprint race, so I guess it's kind of equalizes in the end, and yeah, that was just a bad strategy call, simple as that, in this first race, and yeah, that's what cost us, and yeah, other than that, we could have probably held on for well, ideally P2, but I think with the wet tyres on the drying track, I don't think I would have been able to do that, because I just don't think I have the ability to drive the wet tyres on a drying track as well as the AI do. They handle those situations very, very well when they're not on the ideal tyre. But yeah, I was very surprised though how quickly the conditions changed, because about halfway through that lap before the safety car went in, the track was still wet, and the complete opposite when it was raining, when everyone was coming to the pits, I thought, I know, surely we could do a few more laps before, you know, it's time to come in. But you know, sure enough, as we come out of the pits, the track's soaked. So the conditions changing very, very quickly here in France at Paul Ricard. But oh well, that just makes it all the more interesting, I suppose. And yeah, really happy with the sprint race though, and we made a lot of lovely moves in that race. Yeah, even though just going back to the feature race again, as you saw there battling away with Jordan King, we just didn't have the pace. So yeah, and with Matsushita out, I don't think we had a lot to lose by making that extra pit stop. So yeah, that's my justification for that, even though it was a bit of a silly call in the end. It's easy to say that in hindsight, but another lap or two and we would have been golden. We would have been fighting back through the field, and that would have been a very, very fun ending to the race. But anyway, that is that, unfortunately. But yeah, sprint race charging through the field was a lot of fun. Made a lot of moves in unorthodox places, learnt a few new places where overtakes could be made into the final corner and into that sort of sweeping right-hander in the final sector. I did the final corner one a few times in the past, but yeah, anyway, that's enough rambling, and yeah, I will sign off now and say thank you. Oh, that's a bit of contact. Anyway, I'll say thank you very much for watching to the end, and I will see you in the next video for Austria, I believe. So yeah, that'll be the next round of the championship. That's very close. I will probably raise the difficulty because Austria has always been one of my best tracks. So and given how this round went, I seem to have a little bit too much pace. So yeah, I'll raise the difficulty for Austria, and moving forwards for Silverstone as well, another good track for me, and yeah, we'll go from there. But second in the championship for now to Correa. Matsushita's going to be losing a bunch of points this weekend, but he'll bounce back from it, I'm sure, in the next few rounds. Austria, one of the tracks he won races in real life, so I'm expecting a lot from him there. And yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching, as I said, and I will see you for the next round in Austria. Goodbye. How do I turn this thing off? There we go.